Hello, I'm Rahul and today I'm going to talk about one of the biggest problems of the modern times, laziness. Most of us are simply dragging ourselves in our routine life in order to get things done. As a society, I think that we have become deeply sluggish and mechanical. There is no aliveness in our being. So let's try to find out the exact cause of this laziness which exists in our society and how to overcome it. First of all, when I use the word laziness, I don't mean a lack of drive or energy. I'm rather talking about laziness which stems from a much deeper place, which causes you to live in a perpetual state of dullness. Haven't you seen people around you who are just lethargic all the time? The very thought of doing anything exciting in their life makes them drowsy. What is the cause? And I want you to understand the hypocrisy of these people. If you're going to ask them to do something, they will have all the excuses to avoid that thing, but deep down they are living for the passive thrills. These are the very people who will just go on binge watching Netflix, who will just smoke up and who will just say, what's this fuss about doing anything? Let's just enjoy life, let's smoke up, let's live for the passive thrills. Don't you think that we should try to understand that why we have succumbed to such dull ways of living? I think that it's very important for us to find out. So let's look into this problem together, and together in that understanding, we will come out of it. And mind you, I'm just going to warn you that this is going to be a little long and repetitive video, but it is very essential to look at a problem from various angles. Even if the solution might sound a little repetitive, it's okay. If something is taking you out from this dullness, it's worth it. The first thing to be understood about laziness is that it stems from a lack of love. Are you ever lazy if you have to do something that you deeply love? No. When you have a deep interest in anything, inexhaustible sources of energy become available to you. For example, if there is a boy who has a deep interest in sports, and if you ask that boy to sit in the class and read history and geography, that very boy will find it very dull to be attentive to these subjects. But if you're going to ask the same boy to go to the field, the same boy will perform extraordinarily in the field. And even if he's going to get tired physically, his heart will never be tired. His heart will just somehow make available this inexhaustible source of energy that will keep driving this boy. So this is something that you really need to understand, that laziness stems from a lack of love for what you do in your life. When you do things wholeheartedly, laziness cannot possess you because your heart knows nothing of laziness. Your heart just knows of joy and ecstasy of love. So laziness is not the real question. The real question is that why do we stick to things that we don't love at all? And I'm perfectly aware of this thing in life, that sometimes unavoidable situations demand necessary actions, and those necessary actions might not be something that you will like. So sometimes you have to do the necessary things in life in spite of your disliking. That's not a problem. We all can deal with it. The real problem is when we choose to stick to something, deliberately choose to stick to something because it offers us some secondary rewards. Even if we don't like that thing, we stick to it because of the secondary rewards. And there are a lot of secondary rewards. Financial security, recognition, respects, and a lot of other benefits that we have become habituated to. And we live for these secondary benefits. We want a lot of money. People are working for money. People are working for respect. People are working for recognition. And there is no joy in their work. Every day they are just dragging themselves. Every day they are living the life of their high school self. Something that they chose when they were so immature. They are living for the dreams and desires of their parents. So this is something that really needs to be understood, that secondary derivatives are not something to live for. You should live for the primary thing. And the primary thing is how you're going to spend your every living hour. If your work does not offer you any ecstasy in life, then it's not worth sticking to. You will just live a lethargic life, a lazy life. You might have a lot of money, but you will totally feel like a zombie. Is it something that you want to choose in your life? These are the real questions that you really need to ask yourself. And a deep inquiry is needed to come out of it. Because comfort always fuels laziness. Habits make you dull. Habits are comforting in nature. And the thing is that life thrives in challenges. You will never ever feel alive in the comfort zone. You will always feel alive, living on the edge, facing the challenges and uncertainties of life. But we have all kind of rationalizations to remain in the comfort zone. Just ask someone around you, what would they like to do in their life if they can choose it all over again? And people will have very interesting answers. Somebody would say that they would like to write a book, they would like to pursue music, they would like to study philosophy or psychology, and ask them again that why aren't they doing it right now? Life is not over. In this very moment, they can choose to pursue these things, and right away comes the answers, the rationalizations to remain in the comfort zone. What's the point of pursuing these things? There are so many people who are playing musical instruments or who are composing music better than me. There are so many people who are just experts in the field of psychology and philosophy. They don't get the point. It's not about the recognition. It's about the joy of doing things. Remember, only joy can take you out of laziness. I'll repeat it again. Only joy can take you out of laziness. And if you're not enjoying anything in your life, you are not alive. Remember this thing, you are just biologically alive. You have no heart throbbing within your being. Rationalizations never help. Children don't rationalize anything and they are bubbling with joy all the time. It's very rare to find a child who is lazy. Strangely, adults are totally the opposite. We don't find any reason to get involved with life, and children don't find any reason to not get involved with life. We are merely satisfied with the little comforts of life. As long as we get the monthly paycheck to do the things that we don't like at all, we are okay with it. We are living for the cheap pleasures of life. If we can somehow manage to have these passive thrills of binge watching Netflix, of smoking up, of going out with friends, having these dinners at the restaurants, we are satisfied. We are not looking for anything deeper. We are satisfied with the passive thrills, the cheap thrills, the superficial thrills of life. And it's not totally our fault. If we have not known anything deeper and much more ecstatic than these superficial thrills, then we will never ever get interested in anything more in life. To realize that there is a possibility of greater joy and ecstasy in life, you need to have a few glimpses. And glimpses will only be there if you're willing to make an effort to inquire and question whether there could be a totally different way of living. That's the beginning of finding these little glimpses. So the whole point is that we are lazy because we are not joyful. We are not joyful because we are doing things that are not meant for us. We are doing things that are not meant for us because they bring us some secondary rewards and comfort. And we have become habituated to those secondary rewards and comfort. And the solution is very simple. Just give up the comfort and do things that stir up joy in your heart. A courage to give up the comfort and the curiosity to find what you love is needed. This is the only solution. I'll repeat it again. A courage to give up the comfort and the curiosity to find love is needed in order to counter the laziness. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not saying that you should switch your career or maybe find a new life partner because you don't feel excited and curious about these aspects of your life. There is a possibility that you are doing things that are meant for you, but still you feel this sluggishness. Let's say that you are an educator and you're meant to be one, but you somehow miss the curiosity and excitement that once you felt about this noble profession. Now you feel deeply sluggish about this thing. Now you feel deeply mechanical about this thing. So all you need to do is introspect, inquire, and find out a new way of teaching or educating. Maybe you have become habituated to a very particular pattern of teaching. Maybe you should really try to find out more ways of teaching so that you can feel alive again. And lastly, I want to say that this transition from the comfort zone to the love is not going to be an easy one. There will be a lot of hurdles and challenges that you're bound to encounter. And especially if you are conditioned to live for the secondary benefits of financial security, respect and recognition. Maybe your love is going to be something which will not bring you these secondary benefit. Still opting to choose your love is going to be a little challenging, but it's going to be worth it. In retrospect, you will always feel thankful that you inquired and you chose something that your heart craved for, not what your mind craved for.